Hello, it's Royal Ruby and Ted. And we're here doing a video for you tonight. This is a special presentation video that I'm doing. And I feel the need to do it because a lot of people talk about van life and that the reason they become nomads and they want to be out on the road is because it gives them such a feeling of freedom. And you know that's true because there's nothing greater than being in a different spot and having that feeling that you don't have any responsibilities and you're just traveling and having fun. That's a great feeling. But along with that travel are responsibilities and things that you have to take care of and that you have to make sure are taken care of every single day. So van life is free and it feels free, but it also has a lot of worries, a lot of concerns, a lot of burdens that you have to carry, and people don't want to talk about that stuff. They just want to talk about, oh, it's so free, I'm so free. Oh, yeah. And they pull up at these oceans and these beautiful locations, but you don't see them when they're parked at a Walmart or they're parked at a Planet Fitness or in an apartment complex behind some group of buildings or whatever, hiding out, waiting, to see that nobody gives them a knock. I mean, they don't tell you all that. So van life is a free feeling, but it is not worry-free. So I'm here to tell you the worries of van life. That's what I'm going to give to you today. Okay, so we're going to start out with the first biggest worry that you have when you're out nomadically living, and that is water. Okay, water is something you need to survive. If you don't have water, you will die. Okay. You need water for other things. You need to brush your teeth. You need to wash your face. I mean, for cleanliness, you need to get a shower, So water is a big consideration. Not only do you have to hydrate, you need to clean your dishes. I mean, there's so much you need water for. A lot of people use, vinegar and water, and that's great, but that's not a good cleaning like hot, sudsy, soapy water is. So for me, the biggest thing when I'm out camping, and I know it's not the same as being a nomad when you're camping because you are only out for a period of time, but the biggest thing I'm always aware of and worrying about is my water supply. I'm always checking. Like, I'll leave the house and fill my tanks with 13.5 gallons of water that I carry on board. And right now it's Thursday, I leave tomorrow, and my tanks are empty, and I filled them on Monday morning. So I went through 13.5 gallons of water just with doing my dishes, because that's all I used it for. I bought bottled water for drinking. So yeah, I was out. Now I could have filled them here, but I don't want to fill my tanks with the water here at this campground because it's just not real good water. Even if I use a filter, it's just not as good as the water I have at home. So that's always a consideration. Are you running out of water? Where am I going to get water? How far away is it? Where do I go to pick it up? How much does it cost? Sometimes they charge you by the gallon, most places. So when I go to my Sticks and Bricks, I go to open the spigot up and I have water come out. I get in the shower, I take a hot shower. I don't have to worry about taking a military shower. I just take a regular shower. I mean, yeah, I get a water bill every other month or every 3 months or whatever. I guess it's every quarter I get a water bill. But it's so little. I think I spend $36 a month on my water total. And that's not a lot of money. When you figure when you're out in a van and you're being a nomad, you're buying water, you're buying, bottled water. You're worrying about getting to the place to get the water. You got to drive there and use your gas to get the water. You got to be concerned, the convenience and the stress of worrying about whether you have water or not. What's that worth to you? It's like, I don't know, guys. I just feel like that's a stressful issue. Then you have other types of issues with water. You have gray water tanks and you have black water tanks. Now, when I first started camping, I didn't understand all this stuff. I had to watch a lot of videos, but gray water is like your dirty dish water, toilet, your water from not your toilet, but your water from your toothpaste water and stuff like that. Gray water is supposed to be disposed of in an environmentally friendly way. Personally, I only have a 2.5 gallon tank of gray water, so it comes out from my sink. I just throw it somewhere discreet on the campground where I'm staying, and I don't go to no special spot to get rid of it. I'm going to be honest, because that would be such a hassle, and I don't think nobody does it. But anyway, that's a hassle. worrying about your gray water filling up and having to empty it regularly. At home, I have a sewer trap that goes down through, and I don't have to worry about my gray water. It just goes somewhere. I don't have to empty anything. Then you have your black water tank, which is your poopy water, basically. It's where your poop goes. And, whatever type toilet you have, whether you have an RV toilet, a Nature's Head, I have a Lavio dry flush, just a regular, bucket with a lid and a toilet seat on it, with a bag in it. You still have to dispose of that. And I'll tell you what, that's a hassle too, because your van will start to stink real quick if you keep that crap in there too long. Trust me. They could say, oh, it doesn't stink. Well, it will. Like, I use a Lavio dry flush. Mine literally does not smell ever, but it's like a diaper genie kind of thing. But I think those other ones do give off an odor. So that's another hassle. When I go to the bathroom in my sticks and bricks, I just sit on the toilet, I flush the commode, and I don't worry about it. And yes, I have a sewer bill, but again, it's only about $36 a month. It's not much at all. And I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go find a place to dump it. It's just automatic. Okay, so that's a worry. Water is a worry in van life. The next thing you're going to have that creates worry for you as a van lifer is power. Okay, everything that you have in your van, your phone, your laptop, your iPad, your lighting, your refrigeration, your ventilation, that all requires to be recharged. Okay, with either USB, that has to be recharged. Maybe you have batteries, maybe you have power stations that you use, like Jackeries or Bluettis or Goal Zeros. I have Jackeries. You still got to keep an eye on them and monitor them, make sure they're up to charge. If you have solar power, you can't park in the shade if it's on the roof, because you won't get any sun. You got to keep an eye on it, make sure it stays charged up, and you got to try to strategize where you can hook up to shore power. Maybe you could go to Panera Breads and hang out and do your editing of your video. Everything is so stressful. You just have to worry, okay? And I know they tell you how wonderful it is, but these are the things, if you sell your sticks and bricks and you go out on the road, you're gonna find out real quick, it's not a bowl of cherries. It's not what they crack it up to be. It isn't, because I do it part-time, and I'm so glad when I get home, seriously. But I have everything, like flick a light switch on, plug my phone into the wall outlet, I have power, it's just wonderful. I just gotta tell you. Okay, so next we have, the next worry is food and drink, okay? You have to obviously work with a smaller refrigeration unit when you're in a camping van. I have a compressor fridge. It does hold a lot, pretty much, but I can't get as much in it as I can in my fridge at home. And I have a nice freezer at home, so when I go grocery shopping, I can stock up on things when they're on sale and put them in the freezer, so I get better deals, because with inflation and everything, if you're living in a van, hey, you can't do that because you don't have extra room to stock up. You have to just pay the prices at the grocery store as they go up. Some things you can stock up on and put in, storage for yourself or whatever, but refrigeration is different. You're going to be eating more processed food when you're on the road, things that do not require refrigeration, because a lot of van lifers do not use refrigerators. Sometimes they'll use a cooler, but then you have to worry about your ice. Most of the time, they just don't buy fresh produce or anything because they cannot do the refrigerator. It just powers down their power supply too quickly. And mine's about 48 watts, so it does suck the power pretty quick. So, that's a consideration, and then you have your drinks. You always have to have a cold drink. In the summer, you don't want to dehydrate. Well, good luck with that, because, you only have so much room in that refrigerator, and you can't be putting all drinks in it. You got to have food in there, too. So, it's a lot. And you also have to consider solar panels, because if they're on your roof, like I said earlier, to power your refrigerator. If you're in the shade, you won't get much power. So I feel like your nutrition is compromised a lot when you're living in a nomadic lifestyle, because you're not getting the same fresh produce that you get when you're living in a house. Plus, you're paying more for the products that you're buying because you can't buy in bulk, because you have nowhere to store it. So then you also have to find a store close to you. You have to go on your phone. Where can I go shopping that's going to be like Fresh Market or what have you? You got to drive there, and then you just basically got to find a store, where you can go shopping. That's usually not too hard to do, but it's still a hassle. I just drive down the street. I live in a sticks and bricks. I know right where the grocery store is. I drive 5 minutes from my house. I'm at the Giant. I go there every week on a Friday. I get my groceries. I stock up. I bring them home. I shop. I eat. I cook. I do everything. It's just cheaper living in sticks and bricks because you are buying bulk items and you're buying things when they're on sale. So I feel strongly about that it's less stressful living in sticks and bricks when it comes to buying food and drink and beverages. The next worry that you'll have in van life is parking/sleeping, okay? This goes without saying. You're not living in a sticks and bricks, so you're parking along a car, along a road, you're parking at a Walmart, a big packing store, big box store. You're parking in a parking lot at Planet Fitness, an apartment complex, in a city on a street. You always have that fear of getting the knock. You have to find parking. You have to make sure it's safe. You have to feel safe. You might drive around for hours till you find something, or you'll pay for campsites, which costs money. I mean, parking is a worry. That is one of the biggest worries. That should actually be number one, because you need to have a place to sleep every night. You need to have sleep every night. These things are not going to give you a feeling of freedom. These things we just talked about, okay? Perhaps at first, but over time, it will become a burden. Your health will suffer, and the so-called worry-free life is not worry-free after all. Sticks and bricks is still a better option, financially as well as physically. Spiritually, it is very fulfilling to have time with God, but that is easily attained living in your home. Sit on your porch and talk to Him. You don't need waterfalls and oceans to talk to God. Just a humble heart. The restless spirit that is associated with nomadic life is spoken about in Scripture, and this is a very important fact. If you feel you cannot stop wandering everywhere and not be able to stay in one place for a reasonable time, perhaps you have a restless spirit. Jesus wants us to have peace, not that sense of always feeling dissatisfied or underwhelmed. That is a real problem, and prayer can change it. So bottom line is, guys, don't sell your home and go on the road until you've listened to this video and you've considered all these things. Because I am not a nomad. I am a camper, okay? I go out on the road, I camp, and sometimes I'll camp for a month at a time. I mean, I've been on the road for that period of time. So I know what it's like, and I know what you need to always be checking on and always be aware of when you're in this lifestyle. So if you're thinking of selling your home and just, buying yourself some vehicle, whatever it is, and you're going to hit the road, it's going to be wonderful at first. Trust me, you're going to be like ecstatic. It's going to be great. You're going to be so excited getting in that vehicle and just driving, and you're going to feel so empowered. And that's wonderful. But it's fleeting, because as soon as these worries start to come into your life every day, and these aren't just, once in a while worries. Like for me, I get a bill in the mail every month. I have to pay it, for my electric or my water or my sewer or whatever. That's every quarter, but whatever. But for you, you're going to have these things every day to deal with. So it is not worry-free. Yes, there's freedom in it. Yes, it's fun. It can be fun. And you do meet a lot of people. But there's also a lot of negative things that you should consider and look at that. Because I did. That's why I'm doing this video. I looked at all this stuff. I watched tons of videos on YouTube. But I wanted to hear it from people that were actually real about what they were doing. They weren't fake just to get subscribers. Because I got to be honest with you, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about monetizing, if I put music on my channel, if it's not monetized. I could care less. If it's blessing someone and if it's just one person listening to that video and they're learning something from it, That's all I care about. I'm doing this because I want to help people. And I feel like I've gotten enough time in the camping vibe, nation, tribe, or whatever, that I can give advice and that I can give you sound advice. Because there's so many people pushing you to go live this life because it sounds so wonderful, but it's not real. It's not really what's going on. It's a hard life. And it takes a certain type of person, especially if you're a woman. Women are genteel and delicate, and they're not like men. Okay, we are not. Like, I'm a petite woman, but I love to camp. I'm kind of a tomboy, and I kind of enjoy, being in nature and camping and all that kind of stuff. But it's really hard. It's not an easy life. And that's why, I like to go home after I'm done camping, because I am so worn out after. I can't imagine these people that are on the road all the time and they're always living in that van. I mean, yes, they get hotels sometimes, but they have to be so weary and so tired of it. So think about what you're doing before you do it. Pray about everything you do before you do it. Seek God for an answer. And know that whatever you're going through, God has an answer. If things are hard for you right now and you feel like this is all you can do is set out in a vehicle to live in a homeless situation, I get that. I get that. It's something you can't help. You're financially in a bad situation. I get that. But know what you're up against. If you are going to do that, you need to know what you're up against. And people can prepare you for van life by, telling you what all you need to pick up, to have in the van, and, start up stuff. But they're not telling you life as it is when you're on the road. It's not easy. So God bless you guys. I hope I didn't be a Debbie Downer on this video, but I just really felt it was necessary. Having a great time. Tomorrow I leave. I'm going to miss it so much. But like I said, I'm ready to go home to the comforts of my sticks and bricks. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye-bye.